Welcome to the Meeting Brief presented by Caesars Entertainment. I'm your host, Nolan Nichols, and each month we will have short, bite-sized, high-impact conversations that go through the trends and topics shaping the future of the meetings and events industry. And on our first episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Michael Massari. He is the Chief Sales Officer of Caesars Entertainment Meetings and Events. And Michael is not only shaping how Caesars Entertainment shows up for planners and attendees, but Michael has also served on the boards of Meetings Professional International and Meetings Means Business, and he is currently on the executive board of the U.S. Travel Association. In other words, when Michael talks, the industry listens. And Michael, it is so great to have you on the show.
Well, it's great to be here, Nolan, and thanks for the overly kind introduction.
Well, let's jump right into our first question. We're coming off of 2025. How would you characterize what last year was for the meetings and events industry, and what is 2026 looking like?
Well, look, you've heard me say this before, Nolan. We've talked about this concept, you and I, and I've talked about it with other people as well. I think coming out of the pandemic, people really understood why they gathered together face-to-face. They understood when they should gather together face-to-face, and they really understood what would happen to their organizations and to the people in those organizations if they stopped gathering together face-to-face. So I think 25 and 26 is an extension of that, and people are gathering together. They understand why. They're very focused on wellness. That's a mega trend in the world and certainly in meetings and events. And so I think they're focused on the right things, and it's really good to see, and I think you'll continue to see face-to-face be the gold standard for communicating information.
Michael, you mentioned mega trends, and one of the mega trends is AI. Do you see AI fundamentally changing how meetings and events are run, or do you see it impacting in just a few key areas?
Yeah, so I get in a lot of trouble when I answer this question, Nolan, with my team, with my children, with anybody that I really give this answer to. But I'm on the latter, not the former. I think AI is an incredibly powerful tool. It's 11:39 here in Las Vegas, and I've used AI 12 times already today. It is effective, it is helpful, it speeds things up, it gets me to the end solution faster than ever before, and it gets me to a better end solution most of the time. But it is around the periphery. It is not in the core. I do not think that it will have a change of the core. I think it will help us be more productive. I think it's a great tool. I heard somebody say recently that within the next 2 or 3 years, AI video is going to become so effective that the only way you can really arbitrate truth is to get in front of somebody and look at them while they're speaking to you. And so I think face-to-face meetings will continue to be more important. And I think companies, I would urge them, I know we do, to view them as a strategic investment and not as an expense.
Let's stay on trends. Let's talk about Gen Z. As Gen Z enters more of the workforce and they start to attend more and more meetings and events, how do you see Generation Z impacting the evolution of this industry?
Look, I guess the way I would answer this question is similar to the last one, is to say, what are the things that we really say Gen Z is looking for, right? Looking for events that have social impact. They're looking for sustainability in their events. They're looking for high tech in their events. They're looking for information in pieces that people can absorb and remember. They're looking for collaborative experiences. I guess my real answer to your question is I think Gen Z will continue to push us into a place that we were already going. And that's to give people unique collaborative experiences that think about the world and the communities that we live and operate in, that provides information in a way that they can understand it, that puts wellness at the forefront. But these are not just Gen Z characteristics. These are characteristics, I think, of everybody that's attending our meetings and events today.
That is such great perspective, Michael. For our final question, you and I both know that this industry has been incredibly resilient, whether it's the 2008 financial crisis, whether it's the pandemic. Every crisis, this industry just emerges stronger and stronger, and that's because of the great leaders that make up this industry. I would be curious, though, as we enter into a future that is disruptive, that we don't know what is ahead, what do you think is one leadership trait that it takes to really thrive in an age of uncertainty?
The question I try to ask myself every day, and I think most of the really effective leaders that I know try to ask themselves are, am I adding value to my organization today? Like, the people that are around me, if you ask them, would they say, hey, we're a little bit better off with Mike around than without Mike around, right? So what am I doing to add value to the organization? And do I have their best interest in my heart? And if you try to lead selflessly, trying to make sure that the people around you are better off with you than without you, both as people and as professionals, I think that's something that really speaks to, I think effective leadership, and it's what I try to model. And I would say that in the hospitality business, you find a lot of that in spades, right? I mean, you see a lot of that, that type of selfless, interested, helpful type of leadership, because that's who we are as people, right? We're in the hospitality business. We're trying to help others.
There are 3 things that Michael shared that I really want to call out for our viewers. Number 1, AI and these digital tools are getting so good that it's hard to figure out what is real and what's not real. And it's going to place a premium on face-to-face meetings, because that's going to be the only way to know what is truly real. And that is very good news for the future and importance of this industry. Number 2, when we think about what does Gen Z want for meetings and events, that doesn't just apply to Gen Z, but it applies to every age group. So as we serve the needs of Gen Z, that can be the rising tide that lifts all boats. And lastly, Michael touched on the amazing people that make this industry so great. And it's important to note that when people apply to a job opening within your organization, they're applying for the position. But what keeps them there are the people. And the people of this industry, that's the secret sauce. That is the magic that will allow this industry to attract the top talent and retain the incredible people already in their organization. Leading selflessly and thinking of others first and asking how you can add value to your organization, that is what is going to help all of us thrive in the future of the meetings and events industry. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing your incredible insights, and we'll see you next time on the Meeting Brief.